that's a heavy set. And if you've just done a heavy set of weights and you've done that set to complete volitional failure, the question is, how long should you give your body and your muscles rest before you should do another set if you don't want to compromise the performance, to make sure you're fully charged up, re-energized for the next set in the exercise or the next exercise? Great question. So let's have a look at this from a physiological point of view. When you're looking at doing heavy weight training means probably around about 10 reps and below to volitional failure. It means you can't lift the weight anymore. It means you're completely fatigued. The energy system used to lift that weight would be predominantly the phosphate energy system, meaning you're using ATP, adenosine triphosphate, and CP, creatine phosphate, as a source of energy to lift the weight. So when you've actually fatigued, then basically your ATP and CP have all been broken apart and they can't rebuild together fast enough to produce energy. So basically the petrol in the tank's been used, but the beautiful thing about in the body that the body can regenerate the petrol, or can rebuild your ATP and your CP in the body. But for it to do that, it requires you to rest so the body can start to use energy from breakdown of fat and carbohydrate to release energy to rebuild your ATP in the muscle cells so you can do another set, basically to fill the tank up again. So how long does it take for the body to actually rebuild your ATP-CP? Well, here's a nice little guideline. So if you've done a maximal set, means anywhere between 1 to 10 reps to volitional failure, now you have a passive rest, not an active rest, because if you be too active, then you're using your ATP still. You want it to regenerate. It's called the half every 30 seconds. So every 30 seconds, your tank of ATP is rebuilt, half is rebuilt. So if I have a tank, which is about this, like a cup, and in 30 seconds, it is half rebuilt. In another 30 seconds, the half of the remaining half is rebuilt, and then it goes half of the remaining half the remaining half. So basically, to get to 90% plus fully ATP CP'd up or charged up or fueled up, it's going to take around about 2 minutes. So 30 seconds, you're 50% recharged. Then in another 30 seconds, you're 75% recharged. Then another 30 seconds, out of the 25, half of that is 12, so 12 plus 75, you're around about 87% recharge. And another 30 seconds, you're going to be in the 90% recharge. So from a physiological point of view, an energy point of view, then it's going to be at least 2 minutes before you're in the 90% regenerated and rebuilt your ATP-CP stores. So when you look at doing heavy lifts and you want to do repeated heavy lifts without compromising performance due to fatigue, then you have to make sure all your energy is rebuilt. And that's going to be at least 2 minutes, sometimes 3. Now, top powerlifters can take up to 5 minutes to let the whole body regenerate, because they may have to take into account neural fatigue and let the nervous system settle down again. So if you want performance, peak performance in the lower rep range, high weight lifting, then you're going to have at least probably, I'd say, 3 minute rest, passive rest, maybe a little bit of stretching before you do your next set, or go into your next exercise for the same target muscle to make sure that muscle is fully charged, the petrol is full before you do another set if you want to get the most out of the set. Unless you're training for endurance, then you may actually cut the rest periods down so you go into the next set slightly fatigued to endure and push the body through endurance. So if you don't give yourself enough time to rest in between those top performance sets, then you're going to compromise the performance in the next set, and that will give you diminishing returns, and that would be no cow poo.